Ann Novak. I'm a career coach at the Career Center of the East Baton Rouge Parish Library. Today I want to talk to you about how you research a potential employer for cultural fit. Boy, what a clunky title, but it is a really important issue. Maybe you've been in this situation, and if you haven't, I'm sure you know somebody that has. You walk into a job interview and you immediately get a strange vibe from the place. Or the worst option, you have started a new job and after just a few weeks, you have the realization, I don't belong here. I don't fit in here. This is just not a fit. And that's exactly what we talk about today, about that fit. That fit is really what comes down to company culture. And that is what I will explain right now. What is company culture? It is made up of the values, norms, beliefs, habits, language, and underlying assumptions that rule the workings of a certain organizations that affects atmosphere and work environment and the work practices. What are work practices? Let's take a look. Let me explain. First of all, hierarchy, right? There are organizations that are very hierarchical. So you all know an org chart where the boss is at the top, and then there's a tree going down layer by layer by layer. And often the decisions are made that way. The boss makes the decisions, and then they trickle down to the people that actually have to carry them out. That is one way a company can work. And then there are companies with a very flat hierarchical structure where things are going on in a very consensual way with lots of discussions before decisions are made. That makes for a very, very different work atmosphere and work style. Then we have decision-making style. We already talked about this. Is this a place where decisions are taken bottom down, where I'm the boss, I call the shot, and you do what I say? Or is it a place where if I'm the boss, I say, all right, let's get around a table, let's discuss. And that way we make our decisions. Both have pros and cons. The consensual is nice because it takes in everybody's input, but it takes longer. The hierarchical, well, you don't get your input presented in the same way, but it sure beats it on speed. Faster decisions can be taken that way. I'm not saying one is better, one is worse, but one might be a better fit than the other for you. Dress code, so important. Are you somebody that likes to go to work in tennis shoes and jeans and thinks about, oh my gosh, I could not work in a place where I would have to put on heels and makeup and a business suit each day? Well, if that's you, then you don't want to work in an organization that asks that of you. I actually had the opposite case before. I've worked with a client who interviewed at an organization and got offered the job, which she declined, not only, but partly because of dress code. She liked to dress up in a business attire for her job, and this organization was all jeans and tennis shoes. And she came back after the interview and said, you know, this isn't the only reason, but it is a big reason. That is not me. I cannot bring my A game when I see everybody around me in jeans and tennis shoes. It's so important to know which type you are. That is part of company culture as well. Performance management and promotions, very, very important. And different organizations handle it very differently. There are certain industries and certain companies that have what's called an up or out culture. You better perform to be promoted. And if you don't perform in a way that you will be constantly promoted, it's out. It's up or it's out. They do not appreciate people that are fine to stay at the same level for a while. That is not their culture. And then there are companies where they're perfectly fine that if you say, I'm an accountant and that's all I want to be is an accountant for this specialty and I have no interest in moving up. And that's fine in some companies. So again, very, very different cultures, and you have to know what you're in for. What goes along with this is compensation. Do you have a company that has a very structured approach to performance management and compensation, where it's clear that mid-year you'll have a meeting assessing your performance, and at year-end again, and then you get your evaluation. And if you performed well, you get your raise. Very structured approach. You know exactly what will happen, what you have to do. Then there are organizations that are very unstructured about this, where really, in order to get a raise, you have to go ask for it. There is no process. There is no yearly meeting with a yearly raise. Well, so if you don't ask for it, you might work there 3, 4, 5 years and not get anything. Isn't that important to know beforehand what kind of culture you walk into? And last but not least, very, very important, how are they on flexibility, on home office, on flex time? Are they tied to their 8 to 5 schedule with an hour of lunch break between 12 and 1? Or are they fine if you work from 10 to 7 one day and 6 to 4 one day? Are they okay with you working from home 2 days a week? All things very important to you as the employee, and things that are handled very differently from place to place. So all of this makes up company culture. Now that you know what it is, let's see how you can determine which place would be the right fit for you. Very, very important. Before you start researching the employer, research yourself. You have to look into yourself. You need to know your needs and wants. You have to know which aspects of the culture that we just talked about are the most important to you. You will never get them all checked off your list, but you have to know which is the most important to you. Is flex time more important than dress code and compensation? Figure it out for yourself. And now that you're armed with that knowledge, now we can actually go and see how you can research companies' culture. So let's start the research. Step 1, so simple. Go and check out their website. And we will do exactly that right now. We will look at 3 examples of 3 different companies in very different industries, and you will probably get a pretty good idea about their culture right there. So let's start by looking at Chatterkick. Chatterkick is a social media agency. Its main office is in Iowa, but they do have a presence in Baton Rouge. So if you just look at the website, wow, fun, right? Isn't that the vibe you're getting? It's colorful, it's funny. Well, it's a social media agency. So obviously that's an industry that's more youngish, funnish, and so on. And that's exactly the vibe you're getting off the website. Now what I like to do is look at the work with us, at the About section and our team. Okay, so if we look at Chatterkick's team, they do a very good job of featuring all their employees. Now, it is a rather small organization as well. And see here, you see videos, obviously, of an office event. So they have social events. That's a big part of culture. And then read this. If you're looking for a pack of stone-cold creative nerds that live for social and drink coffee like it's going out of style, congrats. These are your people. It's, kind of a fun tone. Then the Chatterkick team. So look at this. What can you learn just from looking at this? Well, it's not very diverse for once, right? It's very young. It's very female. So if this is an environment that you think, wow, I could fit right in, wonderful. But if you don't see yourself reflected in this, then, this might give you reason for pause. What I really like about this organization is if you click on the people, it has a little description of each. And if you read through those, they're sometimes whimsical, and they always have a little paragraph about what the people like when they're not in the office, about their family, about their hobbies. Hey, we're talking about a job here. Family, hobbies? Well, that gives you a really good glimpse into the culture of this organization. Obviously, they don't have much of a division between work and private life. They want you to go all in, I suppose, and where you freely share your hobbies and your private life with your colleagues. So just from looking at that little part of the website, I think you can already get a pretty good idea about what it would be like to work at Chatterkick. Now let's move on and look at Ford, Bacon & Davis, a good old reputable Baton Rouge engineering and construction company. This is their landing page, and it's obviously very different, right? Very different industry, so you have to take that into consideration as well. Now, if we look here at who we are, you already see that they don't feature everybody. Well, they really can't. It's a much, much larger organization. But who they feature is executive management. So let's take a look. Boy, does that look very different from Chatterkick? It does, doesn't it? Again, not very diverse, but then this is only the senior leadership. Very white, very male, and definitely trending a lot older than Chatterkick was. So you get an idea, while not of the whole company, but of the senior leadership. And again, you can start to form an image of what it's probably like to work there. So let's take a look at what they're wearing. They're all wearing suit and tie. Remember what the people wore on the Chatterkick website? No suit and tie to be seen. So you probably can deduce from that it's a much less formal work environment at Chatterkick than it is at Ford, Bacon, Davis. And again, partly this is due to the industry we're in. But so think about it. What fits your likings, your inclinations better? Now let's look at our third and final website, Pelican State Credit Union. So here we will go again to About Us and to Join Our Team, which is the landing page for people that want to apply at Pelican State Credit Union. This is the first you see. This is a video of an office party. And then you see that they were voted among the best places to work in Baton Rouge for 6 recent years. That tells you something. And they also tell you a lot about their culture right here. Usually when you go to these come work for us pages, it's very cut and dry, what they're looking for, the jobs they have open. Not so here. You get an overview over their workplace culture. You get these videos, you get a description. What is the first thing they look for? A positive attitude. Hunger. If you want to work for Pelican, you better come hungry. We mean this figuratively and literally. And there's the next video. And this video is of a community service project they did. Okay, you still haven't learned anything about their jobs. It was about the office party, the community service project. Obviously, these are things that are very important to them. To have, to give back to the community, to give their employees time to do that. That is a big part of culture. So from their page, you get a very good idea what the culture is like, what they're looking at. Look at this, what we are not. So again, it's probably, even though this is a credit union, very serious business, and still you get the feeling that this is probably a very nice, open, not so formal work atmosphere. And then you can see, very, very important, we live by an open door policy. Need to talk to a member of our senior administration or HR team? Give them a call. Or the CEO, just drop by. This is an open door organization where you don't have to go through that org chart, through that hierarchy to speak to somebody higher up. They're very accessible. So just from that one look at the website, you should have a pretty good idea about what it's like to work at Pelican State. So that was step 1. Step 2 is kind of the logical follow-up from that. Now that after you've checked out their websites, go and check out their social media feeds. See what they post. Do they post things about their latest projects and successes? Or most likely for Pelican State Credit Union, will they also post things about their latest community effort, how they gave back, how they supported nonprofits, in addition to their work-related successes? Step 3, search out online reviews. Your first go-to place is always glassdoor.com. Check out what former and current employees say about that organization. Then you go to articles in professional business and industry publications and see what they're known for. Get a feeling of what's mostly written about this organization. And last but not least, go and listen to podcasts with either the founders or the current leadership team. Especially the more long form the podcast is, if you can listen to that person talk about their vision for the company they had when they founded it or when they took over what their vision was, if you can listen to that for 30, 60 minutes, you get a really, really good idea what that leadership team or what that founder is all about. And that will trickle down into the company culture. Step 4, and that closely goes with step 5, so we'll talk about them together. Check LinkedIn for people that work at that company, and then talk to people that work at that company, because obviously you get the best idea of what's going on at a place from the direct source, people that work there. They can give you the best view of what it is like to work there and their culture. And final step, once you decide this is a good place, once you apply and you are invited to an interview, observe really closely when you walk in there. What is the vibe like? How are people dressed? How do they talk with each other? What's the layout? Is it an open office layout? Are all the doors closed? That gives you a pretty good idea. And then at the interview, you know that last question in the interview is, so, do you have questions for us? Yes, you do. You always have questions for them. Make them good questions. There are certain questions that reveal more about company culture than others. For example, ask, why do you like working here? What makes you proud to work here? How does this company celebrate its wins and achievements? With the last one, if you just get the deer in the headlights look, that tells you a lot. What does it tell you? They don't celebrate wins and achievements at all. That tells you a lot about company culture already, that they're all about business. There's not much that they do in terms of the interpersonal atmosphere. So now you know how to research a potential employer for cultural fit. You have no more excuses of being caught in this situation. Oh my gosh, I don't fit in here. Good luck. I hope you enjoyed the content of today's video. If you'd like to know more about it, you can go to our website at www.careercenterbr.com, or you can come to us in person at the main library on Goodwood.